Ball. AU Hoop Talk with Coach Mike Brennan is brought to you by our team AU corporate partners. Ameritel Corporation, your hometown place for copiers, DC Trails Charter Bus Services, and Geico Insurance.
Back out to Reed, right side. He puts up the three and he makes it. Jesse Reed with a big three, and the Eagles have the 7-point lead over the Badgers. Pee-wee going up, passing off, left corner. Schoaf puts up the three, drains it. John Schoaf with another three. Eagles lead back up to 11. Gardner, top of the key for three. He buries it. Pee-wee with a big answer as he buries his own three, ties things up at 49, and again, Gardner coming through big time for AU.
Now with AU head basketball coach Mike Brennan, here's the voice of American University basketball, Dan Laing.
And welcome into AU Hoop Talk with Coach Mike Brennan, the tip-off edition, as we're coming to you from Chef Geoff's, just a few blocks from American University's campus, 3201 New Mexico Avenue. And boy, a lot to get to here over the next 30 minutes as the Eagles, of course, are the reigning Patriot League champions, third ever trip to the NCAA tournament last year, defying all odds. The preseason had the Eagles chosen 9th. Bucked that, went on to the dance. AU returning 4 starters, total of 11 players from last year's team. And, of course, Coach Brennan, the reigning Patriot League Coach of the Year, is here alongside Athletics Director Dr. Billy Walker. I'm Dan Laing. And, Coach, anytime you hear reigning and championship, that can't get old, right?
No, it was good to go throughout the summer, especially on the recruiting trail. It's helped us a lot. We're thrilled to be champs, but we certainly know that, we're starting back to square one right now.
What did the experience last year do for you and do for the program?
Well, obviously, people across the country seeing American University play on national TV in the NCAA tournament has a great effect, not just on, from a basketball standpoint, but for the university as a whole. And it's, allowed us to go out and tell recruits that, we have a chance to be good consistently.
Dr. Walker, for you, experiencing that in your first year, full year with the athletics department as well, had to have been pretty special.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic making that run. Mike's assistant coaches, that whole staff, and the players. It was an amazing year, and like Mike said, that's carried over into this year throughout the rest of the summer and the fall. Everywhere I've gone, that I've been at conferences and symposiums or whatever with other athletic directors, they always talk about what a great year we had and what a great hire Mike was, and that nobody really wants to play us. So it's really made an impact around the country, no doubt.
When you look at that and you look at last year versus this year, do you sense more confidence with the team? I mean, because you know that your system has been implemented, that you have the horses to carry it out, and they know that it's worked because of the success you had last year. So is there more confidence at this point this year than you had last year at this point?
Yeah, you heard me say it all year long on the radio show, every, once a week, all year. Just the leadership that we've gotten from John Schoaf and Pee-wee Gardner. And, to have them back and to have them continue to do the things, that they did all year, and to have tangible results, and for them to get a taste of success, it makes it easier to go through the dog days, so to speak, when, we've been practicing for a couple weeks now. We haven't played anybody. We're playing against each other every single day. But they still go hard every single day because they realize what's at stake.
When you look at the fact that you were able to get there your first year, get to the tournament your first year as head coach, does it make you want to get back there even more? A second straight year? Does that mean a lot more to you?
Yeah, you always want to get there. It's, getting a taste of it, just like the players, the coaches have the same feeling. You always want to, do the best you can and compete. But, I was just happy for our guys, because they did every single thing that we asked of them. And, it was one of the best groups to coach because all we had to do was literally coach. You didn't have to worry about anything else. They, did well in school, and there's no, attitude problems or any of that kind of stuff that, is unheard of, really. Every program has some of that, throughout the season, but we literally had zero of that, and it was one of the best groups that I've ever been around coaching.
One of the constants has you as part of the staff and as the head coach, and that is of the 3 tournament teams here at AU. So you can speak to the fact that you obviously have a very strong backcourt, and the back-to-back teams that went previous had a strong backcourt, primarily with Garrison Carr and Derek Mercer.
Yeah, now a lot of similarities. Mercer was the captain and the backbone of that team, the leader. He played for a great coach at St. Anthony's and Bob Hurley. So it's no coincidence, I think, that he was able to accomplish what he did while he was here. And Pee Wee played at Yates High School in Houston, so he's used to winning. He understands what goes into it. But having great leadership is what it's all about, and the rest of the team just follow suit. I would like to say, in addition to that, though, but the support that we've received all year long, from the moment we got the job, from the administration to the alumni to all our supporters has been, phenomenal. And it's great to see everybody here tonight, all these familiar faces. We appreciate you being here, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys all year long.
Dr. Walker, one of the things that was accomplished this offseason was signing Coach to a 6-year extension. It's going to keep him with the Eagles through 2020. Can you talk about the timeline for that and sort of how all that came together?
Sure. It may be a little atypical to sign, to extend a coach after his first year, but I think everybody here will acknowledge that we got a special coach in Mike, not just on the court and what he did, bringing our kids to national to the tournament, but he fits in well with the university. He gets the big picture, makes sure that his student athletes are doing the right thing. As you see here with I think our boosters out here, they all know that how approachable he is and how well he wants to make himself accessible to everybody out there. So we got a special coach, and I want to make sure that we were able to extend him, for a reward for himself. He did a fantastic job, and he was certainly deserving of that. And secondly, to show that our community and our boosters that we're serious about our basketball program, and we want to make sure that we're set to be successful well into the future. And continue to win championships. And part of that, I think, is to show that we have a coach and a program that's going to be here for a long time. And not only does that help with our boosters and supporters, but it helps with recruits too. Recruits coming in, they see that Mike's going to be here for a good number of years. The amount of time that they're going to be signing up for, I think that pays great dividends there. So not only is it great for Mike personally that we want a lot, have him here, but I think just as a message to the community that we're serious about our program, and we want to keep building on this success.
And for you, as far as stability goes, that gives you a bunch of stability going through now 2020.
I didn't tell Dr. Walker or President Kerwin this in negotiations, but I would have signed for a Milky Way. Because I love the university. I love being here. When the job opened up initially, I knew it was the place that I wanted to be, because I think it could, we can really have a great program here. To get that kind of support, right away is important. And like Dr. Walker said, that in recruiting, obviously friends and family, you hear from them right away, but I heard from the recruits immediately, and it did have a huge impact. And it's good to see the direction that the program's going.
And as we transition into this season, the preseason poll has you guys as number 1 in the Patriot League, so much different than last year where you were chosen 9th. A little bit of a different philosophy going into this year, maybe not philosophy, but thought process? It just shows you what polls, really mean. Last year we picked 9th, and they really have no bearing on what actually happens. It's, it's great for college sports and for people to talk and generate excitement, but as coaches and the team, we really don't pay too much attention to that. Again, it was just the actual experience of what happened last year, I think, and having so many guys back from that team. Now we're just trying to figure out what life is going to be like without Ryblicki. I miss him. I miss him. So we're just trying to figure that out right now. And we'll talk about that and how Coach hopes to plug the void left by the graduation of Tony Ryblicki when we continue. Fans and alumni, get your tickets now for the home opener Monday, November 17th at 7:30 p.m. in Bender Arena. The first 2,000 fans will receive a free commemorative Patriot League Championship replica mini banner, courtesy of Geico. Buy online at aueagles.com or call 202-885-TIXX, 202-885-TIXX. Time for our first time out. Back with more from Chef Geoff's right after this on AU Hoop Talk with Coach Mike Brennan. Welcome back to AU Hoop Talk with Coach Mike Brennan as we're coming to you from Chef Geoff's on New Mexico Avenue. And Coach, as we enter this season, you take a look at the roster, and it's a very familiar roster this year. As we went to break, you were talking about one of the big question marks is, of course, how to fill the void left by the graduation of Tony Wablicki. But let's start with the backcourt and the fact you have 3 all-conference guys returning in Jesse Reed, John Schoaf, and Pee Wee Gardner, the point guard.
Yeah, no, we're excited to have those 3 guys back. I mean, they had terrific years last year. So they're, again, it's, on the court they were great. They made shots, they made plays, they did all the things on the court. But again, it's them leading is the biggest sort of beneficial part of them being back. Because now I can sort of, all my attention goes to the new guys and the young guys, the guys that need it, because I don't necessarily have to worry about, how they're going about their daily basis. I just need to point to them and say, hey, try to be more like these guys.
And that's a pretty good luxury for you as a head coach to have 3 key guys that all take that leadership role and are excited to have it.
Yeah, no, and they do. I mean, they really take it seriously. I mean, you can see just how they work every day, how they interact with their teammates, how much respect they get, from all the other guys on the team. So, they do it by their actions. It's not necessarily just, being vocal and yelling at guys and all that kind of stuff. They just, they lead by example.
And when you look at the big 3, as you come down from that, as far as backing them up, you have Justice Montgomery that obviously has a year under his belt, Jalen Ray, and a freshman in Alex Paquin, who we're probably going to see a little bit of as well.
Yeah, no, Justice has worked hard all summer, and Jalen's a hard worker, so, hopefully they'll have some opportunity to give us some quality minutes with, having a year under their belt. And I'm excited about Alex as well from Montreal. He's shown right away that he's physically ready. He knows how to play. So I can see him sort of competing for minutes as well right away.
What are some things that Pee Wee has worked on to improve his game even from where we saw it a year ago? Obviously, we saw all the things that he can do. We talked about him on the show all of last year, all the things that he could do on the floor. You just mentioned some of the leadership stuff that he does off the floor and even during practices. What has he been working on to improve his game and take it even to that next level?
Yeah, well, he's one of these few guys that he can sort of improve rapidly in a day almost. You show him something, maybe about a shot or something, and he fixes it literally like right there, in 10 reps. Normally it takes a guy, months or years to sort of, change something. So he gets better quickly. He's maybe a little better of a shooter, a pull-up jump shooter, sort of understanding where his opportunities are within the offense a little more. But again, I'm going to harp on it, and it's, sounds cliche, but it's, the way he practices on a daily basis, his energy level, how he competes. Langdon Neal is a sophomore, and he guards Pee Wee on a daily basis, and they have like a little back and forth sort of going, and it's good to see guys sort of competing at that high level, and it's because Langdon is motivated to try and stop Pee Wee, who's one of the better guards in the league, and Langdon really helped Pee Wee have the year that he did last year.
And I know for you, Dr. Walker, you have a special connection with Pee Wee, and one of the big pictures was you with your arm around Pee Wee last year. Just talk about that.
Oh, he's just a great kid, and yeah, I do. He's like close to my height, so that works well too. But I say close, I'm still not quite. But no, he's as everybody who's ever met Pee Wee, he's an engaging young man that's just a fantastic leader and a fantastic person, not to mention a basketball player. So, and anybody that wonders about how much leaders have to do with culture in an organization or on a team, all you have to do is look at Pee Wee and John Schoaf, and like Mike says, that's all you need to know, because new guys come in, they play and practice and work and behave and act because of the example that Pee Wee and John, guys like that they lead with. So yeah, I can't say enough good things about Pee Wee.
John Schoaf, another one of the big returning guys that you have, and we've talked about him being the gem rat, the guy that always goes in there. What has he been doing to elevate his game? What are we going to see from him this year, maybe a little differently from last year?
Yeah, he's another guy who just gets better. He takes what you tell him, and he just goes on his own, and you don't have to worry about him, watching every single rep, and how he's going about his business. And for a guy who, I don't want to say he was limited, but he was sort of a one-dimensional sort of kind of player before he got here, and I think he's really expanded his game. And for him to be able to do the things that he's doing, it's just a testament to his work. He's, we wanted to, have him be able to score in the post. And I think his first basket of the year last year in a game was a post move. It was a lefty hook, and for him to get himself from May to that point to be able to score like that in a college basketball game that effectively, sort of not just the skill to do it, but to understand the situation. It's not many guys are able to do that. So he's a determined kid, and it shows up on a daily basis.
And hard work, clearly the theme here. But as we move to Jesse Reed, a guy that a couple years ago averaged less than 4 points a game, moved it up last year to double digits in scoring, and he's another guy that's just always out there trying to improve.
Yeah, no, Jesse shot the ball really well. He's able to get the basket. He's got some athleticism, some length. So he can do some different things. So we're going to ask a lot more of him this year. All of these guys had the years that they had because they worked hard on their games and they improved. But Tony had a lot to do with it as well. So now they got to continue to elevate because they don't have Tony this year, sort of helping them, attracting so much attention in the post. That was a big, factor for them being open a lot. So now we're going to rely on them more. So they have to sort of, in order to accept that responsibility, they have to continue to improve.
As you mentioned, Tony, and we talked about him a couple of times so far in the show, as we move to the front court, that's one of the big questions, is how you guys are going to fill that void, so to speak. What are some plans there? I know that Kevin Panzer, the transfer from the University of Nevada that sat out last year, is going to be a pretty big part of it.
Yeah, before we broke, before I said I miss Tony Ryblicki, he's probably in Germany saying, "Well, what is that?" He would be stunned to hear that because he got a lot of attention last year. But he really improved, and we're excited that he's over in Bonn, Germany right now, playing professionally over there. So we're excited for that opportunity for Tony. But again, he did so many things that not too many guys in our league can do at his size. And he was sort of a perfect, center for us the way we play. So we're just going to try and figure out what Kevin Panzer and Jonathan Davis, Zach O'Connor is going to get an opportunity. Gabe Brown is a freshman. He's going to get opportunities. So between those four guys, we're going to try and figure out what each of them sort of bring to the table and how they can help us in their own way.
And we'll see how all that comes together. Time for another timeout here on AU Hoop Talk with Coach Mike Brennan. I want to remind you, an AU basketball game is the perfect venue to host your next party or group events, organize a group birthday party or neighborhood outing, and enjoy discounts and recognition at the game. All groups receive block seating, savings off the box office price, a welcome on the Bender video board, and a visit from Claude the Eagle to your seats. All for as low as $3 a person. Call the Athletics Ticket Office, 202-885-TIXX, 202-885-TIXX to book your outing today. Back with more from Chef Geoff's right after this on Federal News Radio. Welcome back to AU Hoop Talk with Coach Mike Brennan, and just a few blocks from American University's campus. And as we talk about the schedule, as we're leading into tipping off the season, Coach, that begins on November 14th, a Friday, against Temple.
Yeah, no, we're excited to get going. Always a challenging schedule, getting ready for league play. You always schedule these games, months in advance, but as I'm looking at it right now, I don't feel so good. All these teams are all at the in the top half of their league, but it's the guys to play teams like Temple and Illinois and LaSalle. It's a great opportunity for our guys to sort of test themselves and go up against the best teams in the country and play against in these great atmospheres that we'll be in. And then all the teams, Columbia, Brown, Hampton. All these types of teams, they're great preparation for league play because, again, they're all at the top of their league, and they'll certainly be competitive games.
How does the schedule set up, and how much time does it take to set up the schedule and figure out the balance of who you're going to play, when you're going to play them, and home games versus road games and all that you've got to figure out? When does it start, and how does it all kind of come together?
I have no idea. No, it's one of the big big pains, and one of the assistants is sort of in charge of that, and it's probably, other than recruiting, it's one the most fruitless calls, most amount of fruitless calls you can make because no one wants to play anybody. Everyone wants a home game, and every school is in charge of their own schedule. So it's hopefully you can find teams like Columbia and Brown, that want to play on a yearly basis. You want to play like-minded institutions and sort of play teams that are similar level to the teams that we're going to play in our league. But you also want to go out and sort of challenge yourself a little bit and play the Temples and the Illinois and the LaSalle's.
And when you look at this year's schedule, an exciting part of it is to be a part of the Coaches versus Cancer. You mentioned the Temple game. That's a part of it, as well as we get a trip to Ruston, Louisiana, play Presbyterian, Louisiana Tech, and Morehead State in the Coaches versus Cancer series.
Yeah, and we're thrilled to be part of an event that it's such a good cause. Not so thrilled to have to go down to Louisiana and play 3 games in 3 days, especially against very good opponents. But again, it's you try to prepare your team to be ready at all times. So we go down there. We're playing at 9 p.m. on a Friday, maybe I forget the days, but it's like 9 p.m., 6 p.m. the next day, and then like at 12:30 p.m. the following day. So that's sort of a grueling schedule. We'll be wiped out by the end of that, but it'll tell us a lot about our team.
And as we get set for the home schedule, which begins on November 17th, home game versus St. Francis of Pennsylvania, Dr. Walker, an exciting new addition to Bender Arena.
Yeah, we're real excited. We've renovated the skybox that's in Bender Arena. A lot of people don't even know that we had a skybox because we really weren't using it for that purpose. But it's been going on now for the last about a month and a half, and should be done in about a week and a half, and we're really excited. So it'll be open for reservations if any groups would like to reserve that, to use it for company outings or big family get-togethers, whatever. We just can reserve that through our ticket office, and it's going to be it's really nice.
And we mentioned a lot of the road games that the Eagles are having. I know that you guys do a great job of having events before the games. What are a couple of the receptions that we have?
Yeah, we're gonna have one in Philly before the Temple game, and then in New York before Columbia, like we did last year, as well as Brown, and then on the road out in Champaign-Urbana before the Illinois game, and then once again like we did last year at Loyola and Boston. And we had some great turnout last year at those road receptions, especially as the season went on and more people knew about them. It's a great way to get everybody fired up before we're walking over here. We do it usually right across the street from the arena or on campus, and it's 2 hours before tip, and everybody just walks right over the game, and it's a lot of fun. And we did it before the championship game up in Boston also, and we actually had just a bigger crowd after the game at the same place, and so we're going to try to keep building on that. It was a lot of fun.
And Coach, as we get set for Patriot League play, which actually begins on New Year's Eve at Bucknell, another tough season shaping up for the Patriot League. I know it's cliche, a lot of people say that, but there is a lot of parity in this league.
Yeah, no, it's a very well-coached league. Seems like every team has an all-league caliber type player, and one really good player in this league can make a huge difference. So it is cliche. There's no easy games, but it's true. I mean, when you look at our record last year, when we won like 10 in a row to start, as a whole, that looks different than if you take each game and it's a 2-point win, a 3-point win. So those are sort of hard-fought contests, and I think this year will be a little more like our second time through the league, where people are a little more familiar with us, and so we'll see what we can do. My glass is obviously it's not even half empty; it's completely empty. So my guys have to deal with that on a daily basis.
Well, it's all shaping up to be a pretty exciting season. Our thanks to Chef Geoff for hosting us, and to our great energetic crowd this evening. For Coach Brennan and Dr. Billy Walker, I'm Dan Laing. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you throughout the season, everybody.
Thank you for listening to AU Hoop Talk with Coach Mike Brennan. Today's show was brought to you by our team AU corporate partners, Ameritel Corporation, your hometown place for copiers, DC Trails Charter Bus Services, and Geico Insurance. AU Hoop Talk with Coach Mike Brennan on Federal News Radio. Archived episodes available online at aueagles.com.
Good shots for pregnancy. From the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, I'm Ira Dreyfus with HHS Health Beat. Health experts say all pregnant women should be vaccinated against the flu, but only about half are. Some women might wonder if vaccination would affect the baby, so researchers looked at the 2009 to 2012 flu seasons and data on about 1,100 mothers. At the University of California, San Diego, researcher Christina Chambers.
Women who were vaccinated were no more likely to have a miscarriage and no more likely to have a baby with a birth defect than women who were not vaccinated.
Chambers says unvaccinated pregnant women are more likely to have more